Okay, there we go then. Stockport County full-time whistle has gone 2-1 win for Stockport County over Barnsley in League One for this half-12 kickoff. And what I would say, a relatively comfortable game. I'll be honest, I got slightly sidetracked with the other game which kicked off early in the FA Cup, which was actually a Leyton Orient game against City, which was a bit closer than I thought it was going to be. Hence why I ended up turning my focus to that at times. So I had both games on at once. Stockport County, getting, as I say, what looked to be a comfortable win, more or less, until those last couple of minutes when Barnsley seemed to get themselves a little bit of momentum in the game, and that did result in them getting a goal as well, which was a disappointing one, I think, for County to concede as late on in the game as they did to almost stop Hinchliffe from having a clean sheet to his name as well. Was disappointing because we've had a couple of clean sheets recently. So it's disappointing to end the game in that fashion and say conceding the goal. But it's one of those things, isn't it? And luckily it didn't affect the result. Look, I said it'd be 2-1 in the match preview when I gave my prediction. So it's panned out that way. But to be honest, if you said to me with 20 minutes to go, do I see Barnsley scoring in this game? I'd say probably not, because I'd expect County to see it out. So it is disappointing that we can see the goal, and luckily, as I say, we did manage to hold on to the lead. I think they scored a little bit too late, really, to affect the result. I think if they'd had maybe another 10-15 minutes out there, then it's possibly a different result now. But yeah, I think they probably turned it on just a little bit too late in the game. Luckily for County. Like I say, more or less another comfortable performance for the most part. I was pleased with what I saw. Particularly, Tanto getting on the score sheet as well. I said pre-match that was going to be a big thing for me. Getting Tanto firing, getting that confidence up, getting him his first goal in what feels like a long time. Wootton got his first goal in a long time last weekend. Now Tanto firing this week. So it's good to have both of them scoring. I thought Wootton did well as well in the game, to be honest. We saw changes late on in the game with the likes of Benoni, Brecky Anderson coming on, and he had a couple of chances himself in those last couple of minutes. A really good bit of play at one point between Moxon and Wootton, and finally to Benoni, who just couldn't quite get the finish right as he looked to take it past the far corner. So yeah, it's one of those. I thought relatively pleased with what I saw. And it's a big 3 points. It does close the gap a little bit between us and us and third. I think that the title for the preview was closing on Wrexham or closing on third, and I think with that win it has done that. There's a couple of teams in this league that don't play this weekend because they're in the FA Cup, or the teams they were meant to be playing are involved in the FA Cup. So Wrexham is one of those teams that I think that were meant to be playing Leyton Orient, funnily enough. And obviously Orient were in the Cup, so they've not played. Birmingham, I think, are playing Newcastle in the FA Cup, so they're not playing. I'm not sure what Wickham are doing. Not check the results, to be honest. But yeah, there's a couple of teams who haven't played this week in League One, which does make the table look a little bit maybe sort of a bit different if compared to if they had played. But like I say, we're closing in on Wrexham now, and they've obviously got to have that game in hand at some point against Leyton Orient. But it's just good for us. We all know that wins breed confidence, and that is what is it? 5 wins in a row now for County. That's since that result at Palace away in the Cup. I mean, I think that was a massive confidence boost. I know we lost the game, obviously, 1-0 to Palace at Selhurst Park, but the confidence we've obviously taken from that, because the week after we go and beat Reading quite comfortably. Then I think we have Crawley and games like that, Shrewsbury. Excuse me. And then obviously, the result today. So we've obviously taken a lot of confidence from that performance against Crystal Palace, and quite rightly so, because if you look at it really, that Crystal Palace game, 1-0, goals scored pretty early on in the game as well. Heads could drop, they didn't. We put in a really, hard-fought, strong performance against the Premier League opposition. I made them look very average. And then you see the level of performance that they put in against teams like Man United in the league a couple of weeks later. Same thing against Leyton Orient last week. Really strong first half performance. We win the game 1-0. We keep a clean sheet. We made Leyton Orient, who had been in really good form, look quite ordinary. And then you see the performance they've put in today against Manchester City, the champions of the Premier League. So, it just goes to show that County have a habit of making teams that are capable of putting in really strong performances look quite average. And Barnsley are a good side, but we won that game fairly comfortably today. So that's that's a positive. And I think sometimes we say, look, a County ready for the Championship. If we go, if we go up this season, is it going to be too quickly? And I'm sort of, I think my head is saying that it probably would be too soon, of course. But then sometimes when you think about the kind of performances we've put in against teams like, I'd say, Palace and that, you can take confidence from that. And obviously, as I say, we've taken a lot of confidence from that with the run we've gone on since. And you just wonder. I mean, look, we've got Bristol coming up on Tuesday. That's going to be a game which, on paper, we should win. But we all know football's not played on paper. But we should really be looking to win that one. Wigan next week is, an interesting game. Again, probably looking at it on paper, we should win. So there's a couple of games in front of us now that we probably should win before we get to games which become more difficult. But we're in a great run. What I'm looking at now is thinking, how sort of high up the table can we push whilst we've got that momentum behind us? And I said pre-match the bench today looked strong. So options coming off the bench if we needed to have an impact off the bench, I think they're there, which is a really strong thing. I'm glad that Benoni got minutes off the bench because I think we're going to need that, particularly in these next couple of games. We want to have the option of rotating. Obviously, Sam Cosgrove can come into the equation as of Tuesday as well. But I'm pleased with what I saw from the new players as well. I thought Brad Hills did well. He seemed to be playing in that sort of right back position at times almost, and seemed to take a lot of throw-ins. That seems to be whether or not that's something that he's good at. I'm not sure, but I noticed he was on the throw-ins a lot down that right hand side, so that was interesting. But I thought he had a relatively strong performance for a debut. As I say, it probably came a little bit as a sort of surprise to see him play. I thought Moxon came on and linked up quite well with that move for Benoni to unfortunately not get the finish quite right on that occasion. But I thought it was good link-up play between Moxon and Wootton, and then Wootton sort of picking out Benoni down that left hand side. So I thought what the little that we did see of Moxon, I thought that was a taste of what we could see going forward. As I say, Benoni came on, had a couple of chances near the end, just couldn't quite get it right. But we want to see more of him. So hopefully we're seeing a bit more of these players that we've brought in the January transfer window, and maybe we'll see a bit more of these players get more minutes in the next couple of games because I want us to have options off the bench. I want us to have the ability to rotate as well, because I think if you can do that and you've got strength and depth and quality in the squad, then I think we've got a really good chance of pushing as high up the table as possible come the end of the season. I mean, there's no guarantee for second at the moment as well. There's no saying that Wickham will keep hold of that spot. They've had a little bit of a couple of changes behind the scenes of late. Obviously, the manager moving on a couple of weeks ago. They dropped a couple of points as well recently. I think we're 6 points, possibly 6 points off them now. So you never know. I mean, look, there's the position we're in League One. You can look up, but you've also got to look down. So I think for as good as it is at the moment for us, we also have to be aware there are teams behind us. If we drop points, then there'll be teams behind us ready to take our place as well. So looking at it, here, Wickham do have a game in hand, of course, but they're on 59 points. So we are 6 points off second now, and just 2 points off third. So that looks quite promising. Obviously, we know those teams have got to go and play games yet. Wrexham have got to play their game in hand. I'm guessing Wickham are playing in opposition, or I think they might have been in the cup. But like I say, Wickham and Wrexham have both been teams that have dropped points in recent weeks. So I think Wrexham have dropped points to like Shrewsbury, Stevenage, I think it was. So there's no saying they'll necessarily win their games in hand either. So I think if County keep doing their job right and hopefully rely on a couple of other teams keeping up the sort of hit and miss form they've been in of late, then I think it opens itself up. And I think Birmingham are streets ahead. Birmingham I don't think really can be caught up. They're sort of 4 points at the top between them and Wickham. They've got 2 games in hand over them as well. So Birmingham are really, they're really comfortable. I don't think they can be caught. But the other, as for the other teams, Wickham, Wrexham, I think they can easily be caught up from the position County are in now. but also as well, we can also be caught up by the likes of Huddersfield, Charlton, Leighton Orient as well, if we're not careful. So it's about us doing our job, keeping this momentum going for as long as possible. Let's have it right. We've seen Leighton Orient go on a little bit of a run recently. What was it, 11 games, 12 games unbeaten before facing County. But we're currently 5 wins in a row now. Maybe we can see ourselves going a similar kind of run, and if we do that, like I say, we will push up the league. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the win, and say disappointing to concede the goal was late on as we did. But let's have it right. It was a relatively comfortable performance. Hinchliffe didn't have loads to do. I think he had maybe 2 or 3 saves he had to make throughout the game. I think minute 60 he had to make a bit of a save. Fair play to him on that occasion, but really it was quite easy for us. And I don't think we missed Southern Hales as much as I thought we were going to, which is a good thing as well. I thought Noel looked quite promising on that right hand side. He was almost playing right wing at times as well. I think there were times when we did see it go to a little bit before again. I think Brad Hills might have pushed to sort of right sided, right back a little bit more. But obviously at other times it did become a 5 at the back again. So I think we still managed to maintain that little bit of flexibility in the side, which I was a little bit worried we might not be able to have it without having both Noel and Savin Hales down the right. So like I say, I think it was a pleasing performance. I think everyone stepped up once again, as we have done for the last couple of games now. And I wouldn't say it was a superb performance. I'd say it's a comfortable performance. I still want to see us go and really dominate a game, and create a load of chances and look like we can go and score 3 or 4. Maybe that comes in the next couple of weeks. Who knows? But yeah, I'm pleased. And also the other thing I'm pleased with as well, it wasn't 1-0. So whilst County weren't absolutely firing, we did manage to not, just score the 1 goal and then sit and rely on that like we did maybe last week. We actually went and got the second as well from Tanto. Well, it was Tanto with the goal on it, and then obviously from the penalty spot with Collar. We managed to get 2 goals, so it gave a bit more of a comfortable cushion to sit on. Not that we did sit on it necessarily. I think we're still looking to create chances throughout the game, but going to half time 2-0 up, it's a lot. It feels a lot safer than 1-0, doesn't it? And like I say, I think that's the important thing. Is sometimes in games it has been frustrating because we go a goal up and then we look to kind of not really push much more than that. And I felt, in the game today it was a little bit different. And say we got the second goal. Look, it was a penalty. There's no doubt about it. So yeah, we sort of comfortably Collar, great penalty, and as I say, it gives us a comfortable lead. So Barnsley weren't able to threaten us as much as I think they would have wanted to, and just overall a pleasing win, and we move on. We've got a big game now on Tuesday night, Bristol, and I'm sure the preview will be done before that one as well, where we'll go a bit more in depth on Bristol. Man, the match is would be an interesting one because I think there's I think there's a couple of players that played well, but I don't think anyone really stood out, head and shoulders above the rest. I think it was I think everyone was kind of on a similar level. But I suppose if I was to give one, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure actually on man the match. Like I say, at times I did have my eye on the Leighton Orient game a little bit as well. I mean, I just got to say, I really feel sorry for them. I really feel sorry for them because they put in a really hard shift against that City side in the cup today, and they got the first goal, and then they actually got to half time 1-0 up against the champions of England, which is ridiculous. They held on to that, and they were level right until late on in the game when City got their second. So yeah, I really felt for them because they put in a really strong performance, and I felt they should have gone to extra time. So I was watching, obviously watching the County game, but I did see bits of that Orient game as well. And like I say, they put in a really hard fought performance, and I can kind of sympathise with that because I felt that we did a somewhat similar thing at Selhurst Park. Obviously, the difference is we didn't get the goal. That Orient did get the goal against City, but yeah, it's always disappointing when you lose a game that narrowly against an opposition you think you could be absolutely swept away by. So yeah, I thought that was a really good game as well. If anyone at home saw that one as well, but yeah, it just goes to show the quality in League One though. Like I say, we won that game fairly comfortably last week, but then look what that team's got in the lock in the week after. So yeah, like I say though, pleasing for us, job done. Shame we didn't get the clean sheet. It's another 3 points on the board though. It's a huge 3 points, and hopefully we can keep those points coming on the board as well, because like I say, Bristol, interesting one next. As I say, we will have the preview out for that one. I'll probably be looking to do that tomorrow. If it doesn't go out tomorrow, I might run out of time, and there's no point really doing it on the Monday, but obviously we'll be doing the vlog for Tuesday on that one. And as I say, then we've got the game against Wigan next Saturday. Vlog will be out for that one post match on Saturday, but preview should be on the Thursday as usual with that one. So yeah, this has been the post match reaction to it. Pleased with the win, gutted about the clean sheet late on. Strong performance by everyone. Happy with the subs and how they came on and performed. And yeah, like I say, big game now on Tuesday, which will be interesting. So yeah, we will the preview, like I say, for that one. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Like I say, don't come out tomorrow. We'll see what happens with it, but hopefully it should do. And hopefully everyone's enjoyed the win. Hopefully everyone will enjoy the rest of their weekend now, because 12:30 kick-off, you pretty much got the rest of your weekend without football now, haven't you? I suppose, or certainly without county. So yeah. Hopefully everyone enjoys the weekend. Like I say, we'll be back on the channel definitely by Tuesday with that vlog against Bristol Rovers. So thanks for tuning in, and do get your thoughts in if you're watching afterwards as well. Do get your thoughts in on this win. Don't forget to like the video as well. Subscribe if you are new, and as always, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully see you guys in the next one.